Are you struggling in Final Fantasy XIV to make money, to figure out what you should craft, should gather, or sell, and how to use the in-game tools to help give you the competitive advantage to ensure that you're making the most of the market, whether it's hot or cold? Well, look no further. In this guide, I want to show you how to make the most of Endwalker's new features and the markets in the game, so that way you can make the most out of a hot or cold market and put a little gil in your pocket while you're at it. Hello everyone and welcome to Ginger Prime. My name is Brian if you're new around here, but if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back, you magnificent beast. If you haven't subscribed yet but you want to be counted as a magnificent beast, I invite you to hit that subscribe button, and after this video perhaps check out my other MMORPG content on this channel. Now with all that being said, I want to jump into this guide and get you started on your way to fortune and fame. So let's obviously get the boring stuff out of the way. 14's in-game economy works much like you'd expect. There are highs and there are lows. Often the highs are followed right around the time of a new patch or an expansion. This is a great time to be selling items on the market because you have a lot of interested buyers. There are lows. There's times when the market's really cold, and this is an excellent time when you can buy up a lot of items on the market for very cheap and stockpile yourself up for that expansion or that patch. Obviously the lows, the cold times, are usually leading up to a market, and you can fill them, and it's the goal of this video to really give you the tools so you can help manage those various markets so you can easily predict, but also make it easy for you to be able to buy items and sell items and provide items on the markets in game. So without further ado, let's go ahead and first dive in to the core aspect of this guide. Now I'm going to go and switch over to any crafter. You can see here as actually a culinarian, I have used this method to easily level up to 90. I haven't actually stepped foot in Endwalker, but I've been able to use the markets to be able to buy and sell and do a lot of really cool things. All right, so let me go and show you here on my culinarian how powerful this feature actually is. Now, first and foremost, picking on any recipe, you can go into the ingredients and you can add and remove those items to your favorites. This is the addition that has really changed how you can manage your fortune in Endwalker, namely so because it becomes very easy to find these various items. So if you want to go find any of these specific items, you can go and add those to your favorites. This acts as a weird way as your own personal crafting and gathering quest log. And what I mean by that is that when those items are added, you can easily just come over here to a market board, and now that you've been finding these items, you can just go into your favorites and you can easily go find out if they're worth your time and money to go gather and or craft and purchase. So again, just for the example that I was showing you just now, if I pick on dark rye, looks like a couple people selling it for under 200 gil per item. The question is that worth it? We check out our dark rye flour. That's what that ultimately makes. And you can see here right now, a lot of people are letting dark rye flour go for not a lot of money comparatively, because when you factor in the crystal cost, the crafting cost, especially in this case at level 90, not necessarily worth my time to be able to purchase these up and grind them out. And they work for any item here in your crafting log. So for example, let me just switch over to something that I don't have capped, my carpenter, for example, as I'm leveling this up, pulling up my my recipe list. I can say ironwood lumber. I've already got the logs added. Oh, actually, I'm gonna go ahead and add the ironwood log here. And if I look at integral log here, I can go ahead and add those to favorites. And now if I go take a look, what's it gonna cost me overall to kind of grind this up, grind out these items? Well, let's go take a look, see here. For the ironwood log right now, selling at 550 a stack, as well as integral log, so 666 a stack. Is that worth my time? Honestly, it'd be easier for me to go gather. And here's kind of the real kicker. That's telling me that this is worth my time to go and gather and sell, especially if I use the market's history to be able to pull up and see that people are actually purchasing these items at that price. So if I want to be able to like start racking up a lot of money, this is a great time to start selling as these prices drop, because they will. Ultimately, demand will fall, materials will be provided. Me making a guide on this item alone might have you go and gather this specific item for your server. It could be much higher on your server ultimately. That's its ultimate quest log, and so the prices are going to fluctuate. As a player, somebody who is like, hey, I want to jump in, I now, through my favorites menu and the fact that I can just add these willy-nilly at ease, can turn these in and make a lot of money, is actually quite a gift to me as a player. This makes it so much easier for me to track prices, monitor those prices, and either purchase those items or go out and gather those to provide those items depending on what the market is. And I've been able to make a lot of money. This is expansion. In fact, like in terms of leveling already, just at the time of this recording, if I go into my just gatherers and crafters, like a lot of this stuff, I haven't even stepped foot into the expansion for Endwalker yet. And here I am already starting to cap out on my my jobs based off of that alone. Now it comes down to the question of what is in demand. And this is where I want to direct you to your grand company in the game. If you aren't doing these, this is going to be some free experience for you, but also seals. And that's going to come into real importance, especially as you level up in your grand company. You'll find that, and this is something I have yet to do and we'll be doing soon, the various different like loot box or whatever you want to call it, material containers, they have that drop a lot of really good items, are locked behind obviously grand company seals. And so that's going to be one aspect. But when it comes down to the core aspect of what I'm trying to, I guess, hit it home here is that the game offers you a list of items that will have demand because they're going to be turned in. Red pine grinding wheels, for example, turning this in for carpenter not only nets me a lot of experience, but it also helps me fill in my challenge log, and it helps me grab up various seals that I can use for other items. So I can just kind of keep turning them in. One of the things that you'll notice actually before I just kind of just willy-nilly start turning things in, items that are marked in orange are going to reward more experience and more seals. It's also important to check a look at your current seal cap, so that way you're not letting seals essentially fall to the floor. One of the things that is really market wise and savvy that you should pay attention to is the number of items needed. Sometimes you'll see 3, like here in the case of a culinarian. Sometimes you'll see 1, sometimes you'll see 10 or 20 or 5. This is a great way when you go to list these items to be able to kind of bundle them into that kind of package, right? So that way, ultimately, you don't run the risk. Let me make sure I'm turning in the right item here. I don't want to turn in my gloves. I want to turn in my pants that I have for this. Turning in the item obviously continues to reward that experience. Same thing over here, but essentially it gives me the ability to bundle these up. So when it comes down to, let's say you have to purchase items, let's say somebody's selling 21 or 25. Well, that's just going to give me kind of a leftover of these carrots of happiness in that case. So I've got 99. So I could actually go and take that stack of 99 and package them up in terms of, how they're grouped in that regard. So let me go ahead and turn in my fish here. And now I am also seal capped, but I also have received to give them what they want, challenge log piece. And that's actually kind of a key component when it comes down to your challenge log. If you haven't unlocked the challenge log, note that it is level 15 out in Limbs of Lamenza. One of the things you want to pay attention to is like even just doing your leaves. Leaves are going to offer you a great source of experience. There is a level range for that. Like if I head out to the Crystarium, I can go turn in leaves right there. In fact, it's going to reward me with Gil very little experience because I'm over that like level range for those leaves, but that's still going to feed me as a player the experience of it. So 5 different leaf plates, it's going to reward me with a good chunk of experience. Same thing with making like a tweet, just 20 leaf quests, doesn't matter. It's going to reward me with a handy chunk of experience and a little bit of Gil. In this case, it's not about the Gil. Those are primarily used up for leveling experience. So why is that important? Well, same thing with the leaves. The leaves, as well as like your Grand Company turn-ins, as well as your favorites list, is going to help give you the information as to what the market looks like. And the fact that you can go add these items to your favorite search, you basically are building out your collection of the things that you're willing to supply. And then all you have to do is figure out what that minimum and the maximum is, right? At some point, like if it's over a certain price, that's where you want to be selling at that price. And at some point when it falls below a price, that's maybe where you're going to be purchasing them, refining those ingredients, and then supplying those either to the market, or you want to hold on to those until a time where that demand surges. We'll be talking more about that here on the channel in the future, especially as it relates to like different ways of kind of improving the overall markets and different tools that we have access to in the game. And I really just wanted to highlight that add to favorites feature. I cannot express to you enough just how good it is and how you should be doing your daily turn-ins for your crafting and gathering, especially like, and I didn't even touch on this much, but if you go into, not talking to him, if you go and still outside of battle, let's say you're not even interested in crafting and gathering, and yet you're watching this video because you're a complete legend, stop letting things hit the floor. You should be rolling on everything in the game so you can get these turn-ins, or you can even like break them down into their bare parts through desynthesis, but you can get those seals, be able to purchase up various items. In the case, let me just say here, since I haven't yet unlocked the 3.0 and the 4.0 boxes, let me just go ahead and buy up a bunch of dark matter here for grade 8 so I can help handle repairs. And then that way I'm not going to have and run the risk of being seal capped any longer. At least I'm being able to supply myself with plenty of dark matter, which you will need for doing your own repairs. And if you're leveling up your crafting and gathering, that's going to come into play quite a bit. The reason, again, you get a bunch of experience every week by just doing basic crafting and gathering, high qualities as well. So take advantage of that. Don't let that stuff just kind of fall by the wayside. It's very easy to get knocked out each and every week. And then if you're using the add to favorites, you're going to find yourself being able to have quite an extensive collection of guild making and easy leveling up from level, whatever level to whatever level your goal is. In this case, I would say probably 90, but I'll let you guys make that decision for yourselves. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this video. Thanks so much for watching, listening, being here. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know if you do so I can officially welcome you to the channel here on Ginger Prime. I'm going to wish you all the best. Thanks for being here. Love you faces. Hopefully I'll see you in my next video, but until then, take care.